I'm covered. Like, this is what I was living on for the last 20 years. So
right.
I can continue to live on that, and I can invest everything else.
Yeah. And it's been great. Just kind of caveat on that TSP. So there may be a lot of people out there that think like I thought. When I joined the military, my mom, she was a cop. She didn't know much about investing, but she made me sit down with the police department's financial advisor and establish some mutual funds. Get into some mutual funds, $25 a month, whatever. And so we set that up, and I just kind of placated that and then completely forgot about it. A few years later, I got into, I didn't do the TSP route, but I did do an IRA, 401k. Yeah, I guess it was an IRA that set up as a Roth. But my mentality was, I didn't want to save money for 60, 65, 70, whatever that was. I wanted to employ my money in a way that I could do better. I could do more stuff with it now. I don't know if I'm going to live to 65, 70, right?
Yeah, I feel you.
So what I've learned though, is there are retirement accounts out there that give you total control, self-control over your retirement funds. And so had I had been more aggressive then, I would have had access to it now to be able to invest the way I want to, within a retirement structure. So retrospectively, that mindset of I don't want to put it into a retirement account because I'm not really that concerned with my retirement. I'm concerned with making my money now. That is an actual tool, especially when you get out, you can transfer that and get complete access to it. You can do all of your own real estate investing through that platform, but it's a great place to stack bills and get it ready to employ in a meaningful way.
Yeah. And it's totally passive. So, and when you're, an E1 or E2, you're probably you're not using the VA loans. So you're not really, real estate's a little hard your first couple of years in the military. Although I know some guys who've done it, but a good opportunity to build up a good, secure cash or emergency or 401k position. So, okay. So you're buying single families by making millions of offers.
Ended up going back to Fort Bragg. At this point I had transferred from being a combat engineer into special operations, and it was very demanding on my time. So you
don't want to do metal detectors
the real estate
anymore?
Kind of say that again.
I said you didn't want to play with metal detectors and deployments anymore?
Oh no, yeah. I really was looking. I wanted a big picture. I wanted to be able to see things from a bigger picture, and that's why I jumped. Have more control over your future, but you have less time at home. That was the trade-off, and so the real estate investing stuff kind of took a pause. The education didn't. I stayed, continuously read everything I could, listened to everything I could. I planned my retirement out 5 years in advance, 10 years in advance, just like, hey, when I get out, I'm going to be a real estate agent. Then I'm going to buy a bunch of houses. And then I'm going to do it in this manner and this manner. And I talked to people all the time about what I wanted to do. And I advise people all the time, hey, you should get into, you need to buy a house, right? That is, there's a lot of, mixed feelings about that through the financial security space about whether or not your primary residence is an asset versus liability. And for me, if you have nothing in the bank, maybe a couple $1,000s, use your loan, buy that house, because in a few years, your net worth is going to exponentially increase over time, just because of the appreciation of the house, the pay down of the debt. If you happen to move, somebody else is paying for that asset for you. And then you can do with it whatever you want to later on. But it gives you that opportunity. And you only lose when you sell. So, if it's a bad time, try to hold it.
Yeah. That's why cash flow is so important. If the property is cash flowing and you've got it rented, if the market dips, as long as you've got reserves and you've got, a cash flowing property, you're okay.
Right. So I jumped right into real estate, right? Jumped right into it. And I started submitting, I started using LinkedIn a lot, LinkedIn and Facebook, and I just started telling my story. Hey, I'm in, getting out of the military. I'm going through real estate school. I got my license. Hey, I picked a firm, right? And all those people for years that I'd been telling buy a house started calling me because they wanted to sell or buy a house, right? I had lots of friends of mine that were, had left Fort Bragg 5-10 years ago and will never come back. And they're like, I should get rid of that. Sure, man, I'll take care of you. So business, my first year was just absolutely crazy. I did a lot of business, and rookie of the year for exit. Not that I was chasing that or anything. I just wanted to win. Yeah, it was great. I found an opportunity to be selected as the top 100 people in real estate. There's a magazine, Top 100 magazine. I had built out my LinkedIn profile so well that they reached out to me to be recruited. It's more of just a marketing platform. Yeah. They don't really rate you. You're not really the top 100 people. You are definitely somebody that's interesting.
Don't give away the PR secrets
to put in your magazine.
It's like I saw someone made a TikTok video the other day that was like, you ever see those clips where it's like the top 3 people who whatever, or the top 10, and you're like, this random guy who doesn't do anything is up next to like Tony Robbins. Yeah, well, random guy paid $5,000 to get that slot so he could say, hey.
Exactly. But it builds credibility, it's something to talk about, right? And so that's all part of building your personal brand. Once you build that personal brand, it doesn't matter what direction you take. People know you, and they're going to follow you into whatever you change into. And so the single family thing, it was super busy, and it took a lot of time and energy, and I really wasn't doing what I wanted to. Found myself representing a 20 or 30 real estate investors that were about the same thing I was, about $50,000 in the bank, and looking for a flip type house that they could either buy and hold or flip or whatever. And the inventory is kind of diminishing, right? And so I'm representing 20 or 30 people all looking for the same house that I'm looking for, so I'd have to, kind of massage that relationship, that fiduciary relationship. And then I just kind of found myself in commercial real estate, ran into a guy who was looking at buying a 12 unit, started talking to the seller, asked her if she had anything coming up or off market. And she mentioned that she had a $12 million, 256 unit Class A complex.
No big deal.
And I'm like, well, cool. Tell me tell me about it. Right. So I take it back to the guy who was looking at the 12 units, and I told him about it, and he's like, oh yeah, we can totally do that. Great. Now I need to go learn how to, sell, how to represent a buyer that's buying, so jumped right into CCIM class, the 101, and, gave a really incredible perspective on analyzing commercial real estate. And as a matter of fact, we use the same tools and the same lessons that we picked up from that class today. That deal fell through, right? And what it boiled down to is that the guy had a bunch of investors interested and excited about that deal, and the deal was great. And we packaged it up very well. We negotiated $3 million off of their initial ask, which was incredible. Never even hit the market, and suddenly it's like, all of his investors are backing out. And I'm like, why is that? Because the deal was good. And so what we learned is that he didn't know about a syndication. He didn't know how to do a syndication. He wasn't doing the syndication. He knew people with money. He locked the deal up and felt like that would, take place. Everything would just happen. And so that's not how it works. If you don't have something for somebody to sign right now, you don't have a deal.
Yeah, or a solid
you have an opportunity.
Yeah.
So